channel. Today we're going to be working on, I like to do the quick videos in addition to the longer ones. Some of my videos can run a little bit long, a couple hours, 2 or 3. It's nice to watch those, and I certainly appreciate the people that watch them all the way through. Thank you very much, of course. But you know, sometimes it's nice to have some quick videos, so I try to release those I've talked about before. Generally those are, you know, fixing a controller or fixing a cartridge, game card or something like that, and that's what we're going to be addressing today. When I sell these consoles, I try to include a pack-in. Don't tell anybody that. Shh, it's a secret. I don't like people to know it. But when it's always annoyed me when I get a console and I buy one that I don't have, and I get it home and I unpack it and I go, oh, it's really cool and it's going to look great on a shelf, but I can't play this thing because I don't have any games for it. So I try to always throw one in. I buy these as a bundle, just whatever, it doesn't matter. You know, you may not even love the game, you may not even like the game, but it at least gives you something to play the second you unpack it. Unfortunately, when you buy as a package, you know, as a lot of games, you never know what you're going to get. Generally, the seller doesn't tell me. It's just, here's 20 Sega games, here's 20 Game Gear games, here's 50, you know, Super Nintendo games, whatever else, you know, for this price. And I get them, and you know, the quality, like you can look at this one, if I can catch the light just right, you can see the rippling in it. This is aesthetic. This is nothing that's going to hurt this at all. You know, but we'll clean it up anyway. The reason we're going to work on this particular cartridge is, as in my last video, I was working on Genesis Model 2 VA1 board. I noticed that when I put this cartridge in, it did not want to work. I ended up resorting and going and getting my trusty standby Sonic the Hedgehog 2 that works in every Sega Genesis I've ever touched. It's the gold standard for me. If nothing else will work, I know that one works. At any rate, this one would not work no matter how I tried it. I finally ended up getting it to output a little bit for a few seconds, but not a whole lot. If I have to suspect, I'd say it's just dirty contacts here, but we're going to open it up and double check. Maybe there's a broken trace, maybe there's a capacitor inside that's gone bad, maybe a resistor, something like that. This game was originally NBA Jam Tournament Edition. It was originally put out by Acclaim. I've also got some EA games, and we're going to take one of those apart because I have one of those not working as well. But with this one, what you got on the back are just 2 T10, that's Torx 10 security bit screws. Take these guys out. Hopefully you guys noticed I did take a few minutes, and while I didn't get it spotlessly clean, I did clean up my mat. I've got my dish mats, my silicone dish mats that I like so much over there. Now, what you will notice is some games, not particularly this one and not Genesis games, but some games will wrap the sticker around. N64s were bad about that, so you can't get the back off. This is no problem at all. Again, nothing to do that. Just take those 2 screws off, and just be mindful when you take this apart, you want to lay it out in a specific manner, right? So we take a look at this board. We know that the chip side goes to the face of the board, okay? So chip side goes this way. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my desoldering gun because I do see a capacitor in there. So other than that, we're going to take the front of the inside of the case. Looks pretty good. Other than maybe we give it a little bit of a toothbrush wipe down. The outside of the case is what it is. You have to be careful. I am not a restorer of stickers. I can print this sticker off, make a copy of it, print it back off, and reapply it, but it'll never be as good as this. We're going to leave this alone. Pushing this down doesn't seem to do anything but increase the creases, and we don't want to do that. We may try to rub some of them out. I may try applying a little bit of heat and get some adhesive back to it, but this is a paper sticker, so we want to be careful with that all the way across the board. At any rate, we're going to sit him down and let's take a look at our circuit board. We've got a 47 UF 16 volt capacitor here. looks like our resistors are fine, our chip's fine. I don't see any corrosion. I do see some corrosion. So the back of these legs, we have to get the microscope out so you guys can take a look at this. I see a little bit of corrosion back here, but I honestly don't think it's going to be much of anything to worry about. It looks like we've just got some dirty contacts here. Now there's a bunch of different ways to treat those. I'm going to show you what I do, what I consider the easiest way to deal with these. What I'm also looking for here is any broken traces on this board. Broken traces are notorious on Genesis and first-gen Nintendos. So I'll tell you what, let me get the microscope out. Let me move some of this stuff out of the way, and we'll see if we can't take a quick look under the microscope and just double check everything. Make sure that there is nothing catastrophically wrong with it. So starting up at the very top of the board in the corner, never mind my fat fingers, we're going to just breeze down through here. We're looking for any bridge solder, we're looking for any crack traces. Everything so far looks pretty good. Got a nice light-on logo, light-on 3322. How about that? Again, we're just going to keep breezing through here, checking this board out. The places that you want to look for broken traces, mostly, are going to be in these sharp bends like this right here, or anywhere where a trace runs in between, or at a termination point down here. Generally speaking, if you're going to find a broken trace, it's going to be there. So these right here, they've obviously put some good solder mask around these through-hole vias. It's no big deal for us. That all looks pretty okay. I don't see anything wrong with this. I think we just got some oxidation down here that we're dealing with. So what I was seeing on the other side of this, let me get a little focus. So it's not really any corrosion or anything to worry about, but these legs look a little janky. They're not beautiful. I don't think they're hurt. I don't think there's a whole lot of repairing we can do to that as a whole. But we can certainly reflow those joints and just make sure that chip is in there all the way good. See, this side's not nearly as bad. Perhaps it's the light, but it certainly they don't. At least to my naked eye, they certainly didn't look nearly as bad. Yeah, that all looks pretty good. And let's come on up here. Resistor looks fine. Now, that's a Mylar cap, that looks fine. Again, that cap looks fine. The only capacitor I think that we're going to have to worry about is this guy. This is a Nichicon. This is a 47 US 16 volt. The only reason that I would consider replacing this guy, and the reason we're going to, is this is a non-vented capacitor, and you know this is not gonna take a lot of abuse anyway. It's certainly, the legs on it look really good. I would not say this capacitor is failing or is near failing. Well, I said that. Let's get a little closer with this. a little closer. Well, we may have some premature failing going on here. Okay, let's see here. No. We got some signs. Nothing huge, but we got some signs of some impending failure. That's that greenish color you're seeing right in there. Yeah, you see it kind of wobbling around. That's no good. Okay, that's no problem. Let's get our microscope back out of the way for now. We may pull him back out. We're going to. So you got a screw stuck down there. That's it. We'll have lost that screw and then won't be able to find it. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and bend our legs, make sure our legs are good and straight on this guy. Certainly wasn't soldered in there very good. So we are 47 UF16 now. We've got a positive indicator on there, so we're good to go ahead and pull him right out. Let me grab one. 4716. Grab a 47. I tell you what, we're not going to go with a 16, mainly because I don't have one. But what's our rule with capacitors? Our rule with capacitors is always voltage increasing is fine. That is not a problem at all. We're going to go with a 47 UF25. 47 microfarad, 25 volt. Again, because we can always increase voltage. What we can't do is increase or decrease the capacitance rating. So this used to lay like this in this board, and that's certainly how we're going to put it back in here, but our legs don't fit, so we're going to give them a little bit of a bend. If you don't have a set, everybody uses the real fine one, but if you don't have a set of these blunt tips, you should definitely get a set. Okay, so we've got him in here. We're going to get our solder, dab of flux, little dab, not much. You guys will see me do this quite a bit. You'll see me do it. What you can't really tell very well is that I bend the tip of this up. I only have one free hand because I'm holding a capacitor over here, and that gives me access to my solder without having to fight it anywhere. There we go. Once we got it tacked in place. Now I will tell you this, the joints on the back of the rest of this board look absolutely immaculate, and there is no point in reflowing them. Again, they are beautiful, they're shiny, they are crisp, clearly leaded solder, clearly a good job. I mean, some of the legs are sticking up excessively too high, but beyond that, they've done a good job on it. Tell you what, just because I don't like how high they're sticking up, give us a little haircut here. There we go. Okay, so what we're going to do is, this is where we're going to make a little bit of a mess. This side, we put a little bit of flux down there, nothing major. All we're going to do is do a little bit of IPA, isopropyl alcohol, 99%. You can certainly use less than that if you want. If it's what you have, knock yourself out. I use 99%. When you buy it in bulk, you get it for a cheaper price, and you get more for your money, so there's no reason not to. Okay. We're going to flip that board over, and we're going to wipe him down. Again, this board's nice and clean inside. I've got a suspicion I know exactly what the problem is. And I'm going to show you how you address that once and for all. Or at least, you know, you're going to if you're going to own these games, you're going to play them for 20 more years. You're going to have to do some maintenance to them over time. You're just going to have to. That's just the way it goes. We're going to apply a little bit of heat, dry everything up, make sure all of our IPA is dried up all the way around the board. Being real careful not to apply too much heat to our paper towel. We certainly don't want to start a house fire here. Okay, so what is the problem with this? How do you fix it? The problem is just a simple matter of oxidation. What you need is 3,000 grit sandpaper. Notice I didn't say 1,500, I didn't say 2,000, I said 3,000. 3,000's fine, 4,000's fine. You want a very high grit, okay? Very high. You can buy this stuff in a bulk pack, get all the stuff you need. You don't need a bunch. I like to tear me off a little strip. Again, we're not using a whole lot. We're not going to use a lot of pressure. This stuff doesn't even feel like sandpaper when you hold it in your hand. And all we're going to do is we're not going to use much pressure, a little bit, but not much. And we're going to run over these contacts here. And we're going to knock the oxidation off. Because this sandpaper is so fine, it's not going to take away any of the plating. It's not going to chew through it. We're not going to damage our board. All we're doing is giving it a little bit of a light sand to take away any surface oxidation that we may have. Generally, what would you use 3,000 grit sandpaper for? 3,000 grit sandpaper, very rarely even used when you're doing a high-end paint job on a car. They usually don't go that high. They usually stop at 1,500 and then polish out from there, because there's just you see this little bit of gray that we're getting behind. I don't know if you can see that on the video or not. That is oxidation. That is also from the sandpaper itself, because we put a little bit of IPA down with it. Again, we're not trying to sand through the trace. We're not trying to damage it. We are not even applying pressure. We are just rubbing, softer than you brush your teeth. Very gently like that. Then we'll give him a little bit of a scrub. Make sure all that sanding grit is good and gone. Out of the way. And look at how shiny and crisp those came out. And the important part is, again, we didn't end up taking off any of our gold plating. We didn't damage anything. We didn't chew through anything. We didn't damage our board. We just gave it a little wipe down with some IPA, cleaned it up just a little bit. And that's all there is to that. Now, if we remember, it'll put this guy back together. Grab a cartridge, put him face down. If we remember, our chips went face down over the holes. And that's how we're going to put it back in. Before we do that, though, while we got our IPA handy, the rest of the inside of this board looks great. This just had a little bit of gunk on it, nothing major. So we're going to put a little bit of IPA down, give it just a real quick brush. We're going to do the same thing on the opposite side, again, just a little bit. We're not trying to rub the plastic out of it, just a little bit of IPA down. We are going to scrub the back of this pretty heavy, because there's no sticker back here. And then I'll show you what we're going to do with the front of it. Now, again, you don't have to do this. If you're keeping one of these cartridges for your own collection, by all means. If you're just trying to get one running for a buddy, you know, you don't have to go through all this. But what do I always say in all my videos? If we're here and we're doing it, we might as well do it all the way. You don't have to. What's in your collection's in your collection, and you don't have to go nuts. You don't have to do it that much. But again, we're here and we're doing it, so we might as well do it all the way. Now, the screws on the tops of these are a little bit brownish to me, to my eye. We're going to just take our Sharpie. I'm just going to color those in. Again, this is one of those, who will ever notice? No one, nor will they ever even care. And it's not going in my collection, but just a tip or trick. If you get an old, black screws are notorious for turning brown. You get one of those old black screws and they turn brown on you a little bit. Leave them screwed out a little bit, apply a little bit of Sharpie to them, and once the Sharpie dries on them, you're good to go. And you're done. So what are we going to do to the front of this? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take our heat gun at a high heat and a high airflow, and we're going to just gently warm this up. Rubbing on it just gently. Just gently rubbing on it. We're using our finger so that we know if we've got it too hot. Okay? And you notice I'm just waving this around, pointing my gun in a different direction, giving it just a gentle rub. That. And didn't that come out nice? I think that came out really nice. It looks like we got most of that put back down where we wanted it. Now, what are we going to do about the fact that it's all dirty? Well, I'll tell you this. If you apply isopropyl alcohol to the front of this and start scrubbing with a toothbrush, this is paper, and you're going to chew right through it in no time. Just a crease in it, and I just don't think there's anything I can do about that. Sorry, I just noticed it up in the... You might get a little bit more of that out. Okay. If we apply isopropyl and toothbrush to this, what's going to end up happening is it's going to get underneath here and it's going to destroy it. And then our sticker is going to look terrible. We're going to take a little bit of isopropyl, dampen a small little section, so that we can just give her a wipe down. Okay? We're going to be real careful with our logo, real careful with our sticker. There's going to be some dirt and some grime to come up. You know, you can do this once or twice if you like. You're not going to hurt a thing, but you don't want to pour isopropyl or any sort of solvent straight down on this sticker. You definitely don't want to apply a brush of any kind to it, because you'll chew right through it. It looks like, honestly, that's about as good as it's going to get. And if you look already in our picture, you can see that while we can heat it up, we get this sticker to suck back down. It's never going to stay down all the way. We tried our best. We did the best we could, but it's not going to. And the reason it's not going to is, well, there's adhesive under the sticker. It's just gone at this point. There's nothing we can do about that. But, all right, so we're going to put the NBA Jam aside, and we're going to grab the Electronics Arts game, NHL 94. Now, this one, I'm going to tell you, I'm probably keeping for my own collection. I loved this game. I loved this game so very much. This is probably staying with me. So we got a couple hurdles to cross with this guy. First off, this is no longer a Torx bit. This doesn't take a Torx bit. This takes a standard Phillips head. You can use a PH2, Phillips number 2, or a PH1. I recommend a PH1 on these screws. The decent amount of force. You'll notice I'm not using my electric screwdriver. The plastics in game cartridges tend to be a little bit more brittle, and if you apply the wrong type of force, you can certainly snap one. Okay, so now we've got the screws undone, and we have encountered a problem. And the problem is this little Electronics Arts tag right here. So this has got to come off. And I'm going to be honest, I've never taken one of these off before. I don't know how to, so we're going to learn together. But it looks like that there is a little bit of a gap. There is. And if we slide something down in there, perhaps we can get it to come free. It's like it wants to move, but it's not quite moving. Let's grab a little flat blade attachment for our screwdriver. Now what we're going to do is come in here and we're going to push down into our hole, and we're just going to twist a little. We're not trying to bend the plastic, we're just giving a little bit of a twist. You know what, I think we can go to a larger flathead bit. Much larger. I think we can go all the way up. This is the largest one I've got in my kit. I think we can go all the way out. Oh, yep, that's how she comes out, just like that. Okay, so now we know. So you can't, a lot of times if you look at this guy, you can see that it's got little teeth popped up on it. Generally you would squeeze that so that it will clear the latches and slide out, but with this you can't. So what you have to do is they leave it out where you just slide a pocket knife or something in there, prise it a little bit until you can get in. And remember, our action is not prizing or pushing. We're just twisting just a little bit at a time to free it up and work that. Alright, so now we got that done, we can flip this guy over. Okay, so we've got a 2032 that hasn't leaked. It's a lithium battery here. We've got a I don't know. There we go. 4716 capacitor, but it looks like our battery. I don't see any corrosion on this. The battery looks really good. That could probably use with a replace on it. But I tell you, Man, I'm gonna have to do some study on this 2032 battery here, because I just don't know enough about it, and what I'm gonna end up doing is the wrong thing. And the last thing that you ever want to do with this stuff is the wrong thing. You will destroy it, so to speak. You can destroy a cartridge so very fast. Yep, looks like we broke off one of the old tits right here that lines a cartridge out. That's not a big deal. I can show you how we can glue that back down really nice and easy. I tell you what I'd really like to do, and I've got some in my drawer, is I'd really like to replace this holder, but I just don't know enough about it with a standard 2032. So I need to find out some more information on this. Other than that, again, this board looks like it's in absolutely great shape. I see a little bit of oxidation, so we definitely need to go ahead and replace this capacitor here. We definitely need to do that, so I'm going to grab another one of those out. She is starting to bend a little and leak on us. Again, it's a 4716. We don't have that. We got a 4725. And so guess what we're going to use? You guessed 4725. You guessed correct. What they've done is they've taken a 2032 lithium. That's the battery on here. That's this guy right here. And I don't see it leaking at all. I don't want to put too much pressure on it, but I don't see it leaking. I'd like to replace that with a holder if I could. If at all possible, I'd like to. And a replaceable battery, but I don't have, I've got the holder. What they've done is taken a 2032 and soldered, or arc soldered, I want to make sure before I solder this guy down that I've got the right one. 4725, yep. There we go. If you guys noticed this time I used a solder sucker just because my iron, or my desoldering gun, had cooled down, and I didn't feel like waiting for it to warm back up. Now, I did test this one out, and it did play first time. So, a simple little bit of isopropyl should work fine on this. Because it worked fine, I can tell you the traces are fine, and I can look at the solder joints on them. And other than the two for that particular capacitor, everything else looks fine. So I see no need in going nuts here. We're just going to give them a good solid clean brush down. We're not going to go crazy. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get out our cyanoacrylate glue. We're going to reattach a little bitty piece that we accidentally broke off. This is Starbond Medium, multi-purpose, instant adhesive. Again, CA glue is, boy, when they say it, instant. They ain't playing. Put a little dab down there, and then we're going to get our little nubbin broke off. Just a little bit of CA glue on there. Making sure we clean everything up on it. Other than that, again, we're going to go back with a little bit of isopropyl here, where our contacts come through. We're going to set this one aside. We wanted to do him first, set him aside, and give the glue time to dry on it. And then we're going to hit this guy. Same thing right here, where our contacts go through. Now the big one is going to be this little plastic yellow piece. It's just plastic, it's just yellow. Yellow is always going to dirty up. It does have a nice little EA logo on it, the old EA logo. Electronic Arts, I believe it was Electronic Arts Association, I believe. I don't remember because now it's just Electronic Arts. Right. I'm pretty happy with that guy. So, again, same process. If we remember when we took it off, our coin side couldn't go down, could it? No, it couldn't. It had to go up this way. Because if you put it this way, the coin cell doesn't leave room. Coin cell hits that nut, so it's got to go this way. So I wonder if it drops in that way. It does, just like that. Cool. So that guy's in there. We're going to be real careful because we did super glue that one little nub on. We're going to make sure that it lines back up properly. There we go. There we go. Cool, got it. Alright, that ended up coming out and looking really good. Now again, we're going to throw that away because I think we're got about all the use out of that one as we can get. That paper towel. We're going to put our little EA Clippy back on here. There we go. Fold over our paper towel. Remember, guys, we're going to apply isopropyl to the paper towel, not to the game, not to the cartridge itself. The back of the console you can be a little bit more aggressive with, but wherever you've got a paper sticker, and that's what these are, you want to be extra gentle with them. Try not to tear that up. And that guy's good to go. So is that guy. Guys, for a quick little video, I hope you learned a little bit today about how to take apart some of these Genesis console or Genesis games, clean them up, change the capacitors. Capacitors are cartridge killers. Even though they're not used a whole lot, they do get voltage. They will leak. They are electrolytic. They will destroy the board. I need to find out and learn a little bit more about the battery that's inside of here. I do know that those batteries can leak, do leak, and will destroy I'm not sure if that's rechargeable, if it pulls voltage back from the console or not. That's what I need to learn about on this guy here. If it doesn't, then I will have no problem whatsoever in replacing it with a standard 2032 and letting it ride. If it does, we're going to have to go and find one, but it's a double tab. I didn't see a recharge tab on it at all. Usually a rechargeable one will have 3 tabs. I say usually, almost always anymore. That's definitely lithium, so it would almost have to, but I didn't see one, and I don't know. And if we don't know, we step back and we go educate ourselves and find out, right? At any rate, I hope you guys learned something. If you like these little quick videos, if you like the content at all, do me a good favor, like, subscribe, hit that bell icon for more content like this. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.